In today's video, we're going to go over some of the shocking moments of personal tragedy experienced by the cast of One Tree Hill over the years. We'll start with the many issues Sophia Bush faced both on and off the set. Then we'll look at the remarkable stories of pain and survival from her castmates. The last one is a real "wait what" moment, and I look forward to seeing your reactions to it in the comments below. Sophia Bush's tragic life on and off set. Let's start with Sophia Bush, as her troubles began early on during the time of filming the show. Sorry, One Tree Hill fans, but it turns out that its creator was not a nice guy and was a bit of a creep toward his female stars. 18 women that worked on the show came out and accused him of sexual misconduct on set as part of the #MeToo movement. One of those women was Sophia Bush, who played Brooke Davis. Showrunner Schwan groped Sophia, causing her to hit him, as she wouldn't let him get away with it. On top of that, Schwan suggested scenes that were more sexually explicit and called for Bush to appear on screen in her underwear. Sophia was keen to speak out in the hope of protecting others. While filming One Tree Hill, Sophia began a relationship with her co-star, Chad Michael Murray. The relationship wasn't problematic to begin with, and it isn't uncommon for young co-stars to date. However, Sophia claims she felt pressured into marrying her by executives on the show. She was just 22, neither was fully into the idea, and the marriage broke down. While we're talking about Chad Michael Murray for a moment, we have to look at the guy's own story and brush with death. When he was just 15, he came close to dying. Chad experienced severe complications in his abdomen, to the point where his intestines twisted and caused internal bleeding. Apparently, it was all down to the inability to distend his stomach due to his muscular physique. The problem was so bad that the family called in a priest, but Chad fought through it and became stronger than ever. The silver lining to this story is that the hours spent watching films from his hospital bed ignited his passion to get into acting. Without this, he wouldn't have been in the show. He also wouldn't have married Sophia. The One Tree Hill cast. Tragedies get worse with time. These stories about Sophia Bush and Chad Michael Murray are pretty remarkable on their own, and enough to suggest that the One Tree Hill cast is one of the unluckiest out there. However, this isn't all Sophia had to deal with. Her most recent event is a heartbreaker, and the similarities to a co-star's tragedy will shock you. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit that thumbs up and let us know. You can also subscribe to get instant access to all new content on the channel. Aside from her relationship problems and on-set abuse, Sophia also dealt with two horrific deaths just 2 years apart. The first was her 9-year-old cousin in a mass shooting. In 2011, Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords survived an assassination attempt in Tucson, Arizona, with a gunshot wound to the head. While Giffords was exceptionally lucky, others were fatally wounded in the shooting spree outside the supermarket. The youngest of the 6 was Sophia Bush's 9-year-old cousin, Christina Taylor Greene. The second was a freak accident involving her friend and ex-boyfriend. Sophia began dating Google engineer Dan Fredenberg in 2013, but decided to just be friends a year later. The pair remained close until Dan's death at the age of just 33. Dan was on an expedition to Mount Everest when a 7.8 magnitude earthquake triggered an avalanche. The extent of the situation meant there was no chance of survival. What makes this story sadder is that something similar occurred the last time he'd attempted the climb, but he'd made it out alive. Bevin Prince's eerily similar tragedy. The situation with Sophia Bush's former boyfriend is heartbreaking. 33 is no age, and to lose someone in such a freak accident is devastating, even if they've cheated death once. What makes this story even more remarkable is that something similar happened to one of Bush's co-stars. Bevin Prince, better known as peppy cheerleader Bevin Mirsky, lost her husband at the age of 33 following a weather-related accident. He even remarked about the possibility before his death. Here's what happened. Bevin married William Friend in 2016, and they were in a happy marriage for several years, until William's untimely death. The pair were out with friends off Masonboro Island in North Carolina. What should have been a fun July 4th weekend excursion ended in disaster when a storm hit the water. As conditions worsened, lightning struck the boat and hit William. Responders from a local police boat attempted to revive him, but he was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. The impact was so intense he didn't stand a chance. Spookily, William mentioned the prospect of death by lightning not long before it happened. Immediately following the event, Prince received plenty of support from friends and family, with many publicly expressing their shock at the news. One member of the cast of One Tree Hill to do so was Hilary Burton. She remarked on how Bevin had always been the strong one out of the group, and the one never to ask for help. Because of this, she urged people to rally around her and come together as a family. This statement of support and the idea of personal strength is touching when we take a look at the tragedy and turmoil in Hilary's own life. She sells herself short by suggesting she isn't as strong because she has gone through some horrific pain and loss too. Hilary Burton has a long history of infertility struggles, which she opened up about on her podcast with her co-stars. The first miscarriage rocked her marriage to its core, and she claims she fell into self-destructive patterns. Her mental health faltered further after additional miscarriages, and she had to fight to save her marriage. Bethany Joy Lenz and the cult. Finally, we end this video with the most shocking one of all. This is one we're all dying to know more about because there are more questions than answers right now. Bethany claims that she was a cult member for 10 years. Now, I don't know about you, but this immediately brings up some scary imagery of crazy religious leaders keeping people in compounds and the potential for mass suicide pacts. This could be completely off, and the cult was actually kinda mild, but 10 years is still a long time of indoctrination in any sort of sect. Thankfully, Bethany didn't drink the Kool-Aid and is back living a normal life. She's promised to open up about it all in a tell-all book in the future, and many of us will be queuing up to read that one when it comes out. There have been a few obstacles on the path to publication, however. For a start, there are all the legal implications in discussing details of the cult and the people involved. Then there is Bethany's ADHD diagnosis, which makes it difficult to write. It's great to see her being so open about her condition and able to work around it. This can't have been easy to deal with on top of all the turmoil and stress caused by the cult. She claims that the time it took to get over being in there was as long as she was a member. Makes you wonder what was going on. Hopefully, it won't be too long until we get more details and a release date for that. Until then, there is always the Drama Queens podcast she shares with Bush and Burton. If you aren't subscribed to that and are a big One Tree Hill fan, you'll want to go find it. Is the cast of One Tree Hill the unluckiest ever? There are lots of claims about casts becoming cursed in some way because of the number of tragedies after the show aired. Power Rangers is probably still the frontrunner in terms of the number of cast members that died at a young age. Still, there is definitely some bad energy around One Tree Hill. It all started on set with the creepy antics of the showrunner and #Me Too accusations. It continued with personal struggles and challenges as the cast grew up and ended with too many bereavements and broken hearts. While we all can't wait to learn more about Bethany Joy Lenz and the cult, we have to hope this is the end of the tragedies in the cast's lives. As always, I'd love to hear what you think about all this, especially the cult and some of the weird coincidences. Is it just a coincidence that both Sophia Bush and Bevin Prince lost partners aged 33 in freak accidents? Or is there a curse on the cast of One Tree Hill? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.